I just wanted to go over my little work it out plan today. So we'll get rocking and rolling. So of course we should start off with a joke. So let me get a good one. You guys ready for a good one?
Yeah. Always.
Always. All right. So here we go. Okay. What do Santa's elves listen to as they work? I don't know. Rap music. Get it?
Oh.
Rap the present.
That was good.
Get it? All right. I don't want to burn through all of them, but we'll do one more. Why is Peter Pan always flying?
I don't know.
He never lands. Never land?
Wow.
I got a wow with that one. All right. Wow. All right, let me go to share my little screen. We've got a let's see here. We've got just like an 8-step dealio that I posted out there, which is this guy. And I'll go to view and present as I get a little bit more skilled with this stuff. So do you see the little guy there? Are you seeing our little traffic light dude?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so this is the middle of the traffic light. So we've got the green, the yellow, and the red. And we're in the yellow. What I find out there at recess or in the lunchroom or in the classrooms or wherever, sometimes kids just get into a little bit of a conflict, and then they just go, Mr. Dryer, or they go to the teacher, or at home, they could be coming up to me. I think my kids were about 3 or 4, and I met this guy by the name of Izzy Kalman, who had a really cool program called Bullies to Buddies. And he still has that program, I'm pretty sure. So he did this conference, and he talked about kids learn to work out and wrangle, like through their wrangling. So even if we don't give them instructions like these 8 steps, what he was saying is that a lot of times our growth and our development is going to be coming when we play a game. I don't know, am I up? Is my little picture in the corner or no? I think I see one with a blank face. If you guys could pop in for a second.
Yeah.
Is it me or just a little blank face?
We see you.
In the little corner?
Corner, yep.
Cool, thank you. All right, so we got this old 70s game, Pickup Sticks. And sometimes there could be arguments about whether the stick moves, because in Pickup Sticks, the idea is you're not supposed to move a stick, so there could be arguments about that. People could get grumpy on Bop It, like we're getting it going and passing it and getting the record going, and then somebody messes up, and then somebody could get upset about that. Or this is one that even my wife and I, when I started playing Chinese checkers, this one could get really intense. So any one of these games we play, we know all you guys are out there playing games too. And playing out at recess, all that stuff's supposed to be fun. But sometimes we get an issue, and before you go running up to a parent or up to the person at school, whether it's the teacher or the person with the orange vest, you've got to make a decision to try to work it out yourselves. So when we did this lesson, we had the Beatles song, We Can Work It Out. And it is too short. Life is too short for fussing and fighting, and we can work it out. So one of the things that we start with is by just getting a talking piece. I've got little, I bought 3 or 4 or 5 little talking pieces at school, or pretty much you can use anything handy. I wouldn't maybe use a pickup stick if that's an intense conflict, no sticks, but something like a little like something soft and squishy, one of those squeeze things is good. And so when we decide to work it out, we're gonna get a talking piece. And that is really cool because now we have these 2 ears for listening. And so everybody who does not have the talking piece, they're going to be in that job. Their job is just to listen. And then the person who grabs that talking piece and decides to do the work it out, they get to start. So that person begins. So we keep it simple. Number 1, you decide to work it out. Number 2, you go grab something that's going to allow you to have that complete attention on the person with the talking piece, and then the person talking starts. So that's how we get this thing going. If it's, you know, on the playground, I'm grabbing like a wood chip, I'm grabbing a little piece of black tire, and just modeling for them. And, you know, it might seem a little bit awkward at first. It might seem even like a cheesy idea. But the cool thing is, if you do this again and again and again and again, now we're starting to learn lessons for a lifetime. Because I know, like, even as grown-ups, it would be a good idea to sometimes just get into a circle and have a process to work things through so that things just don't escalate higher and higher and higher over games or something else going on. All right, so let's pause there and let's stop sharing screen for one moment. If there's any questions, go ahead and fire away with questions. So we've gone through 3, and then we'll talk about I statements in a minute. But I'm going to stop share for a minute because my jokes are right up here on the screen. I can't let you see the answers to the jokes. That would be messed up. All right, so let's see here. I've got another one. All right. So after dinner the other day, my wife asked me if I could clear the table. And I needed a running start, but I made it.
Oh my.
Get it? Clearing the table. Woo! Get that?
That was a good one.
There you go, guys. That's the next one. All right, so let's go back to sharing the screen. I'll pull up my little dude here. All right. Takes a little second. Share and share. All right, cool. And then we'll go back to that view. All right, so we were on step number 4 and using I statements. So if it's like, you moved the pickup stick first, or you did this and it made me mad because you're taking too long on the swing, that's not super helpful. So I statements are, so, you know, you can talk about how you feel about it. I feel super upset that you take the swing for way too long, or I feel like we need to like take turns better and not knock the ball or throw down the ball on 4 square. So I really would like us to do a better job of this because I feel sad right now because we're not playing, we're wasting our time. So the I statements are very helpful. So if you've got that talking piece and you're sharing those I statements, that's a much better option than pointing the finger at the other person and saying, I didn't like that you did this and you did that and you're mean. That just gets us into trouble. So using I statements is a really important thing to get used to. And then number 5, once you've had your turn, we should hear everybody's side of the story. So everybody should have a chance to say how they feel and what their perspective is, because everybody's got their own opinion and all of the opinions are kind of true. I think a lot of times when I'm working things out at the playground, it's like I've heard 2 totally different things. I didn't see it or witness it. And if it's kind of a big deal, the way we move on is just to realize, look, your perspective is true. The other kid's perspective is true. We don't need to debate that. But once we're able to just share how we feel and share with our I statements and all go around, we're going to then do number 6. And then making a plan can be super, super easy. Some kids say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go play with this other friend for the rest of the recess. It could be like we're going to make sure we follow the rules on tetherball or 4 square or riding on the swings. And then that's what we're supposed to do. Number 7 is to just do the plan. So you're going to actually carry out and do what you actually said. So that's a really important way to make sure you're doing things differently, because we're all going to get triggered. A trigger is something that bothers us, and siblings are really good at that. And family members are really good at triggering each other. So that just means like you do something that bugs somebody, and sometimes we're pushing those buttons on purpose. We don't want to do that. It makes life miserable, especially when we're around each other much, much more. I hope, you know, everybody else out there is getting along really nicely most of the time. I think we're doing pretty well most of the time, but nobody's perfect. But it really is not fun when somebody's pushing those buttons and they're totally avoiding the plan and they're trying to trigger somebody on purpose. So make sure you're carrying out that plan. And then number 8 is if the plan fails, or repeat. And if your plan fails or there's other conflicts needed to be addressed, and you just go right through 1 through 7 again. So you can go right back through this, decide to work it out, get a talking piece. Person starts who grabs that talking piece and takes the initiative. Use those I statements, pass it around. There could be 3 or 4 or 5 kids or family members or friends. And then you're going to make that plan and try it again. And we're not perfect, so we're always going to have those times where we get upset, we get bothered, Smake pushes our buttons enough times that it's going to be a problem again. So we always have this opportunity to go right through this simple process. So if you, when you look at the posts that I make too, you can refer back to them, or you can even print them out if you want to have something like this at home, and I could put them in as a PDF attachment as well, I guess. So that's it, a pretty brief, short lesson today. I know when we're playing games, it should be fun. I know when we're at home a lot, we should be enjoying each other's company, but I know that's not 100% reality. So let's maybe wrap up with one more joke, and any questions? So let's see here. Stop the share. All right, so are there any questions? I mean, it's pretty easy. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
All right, have you needed that ever? Do you guys need to work things out, or have things been perfectly smooth?
No. That's a good joke.
That wasn't a joke.
Oh, okay. No, we've been pretty good so far.
That's good.
Pretty normal.
Pretty normal, that's good. Yeah, I think it's also pretty normal for everybody to have those rough days and so on. So, all right, we're going to finish with this one. You guys ready?
Ready.
Yes.
All right, what's a ninja's favorite type of shoes?
High shoe. Like
High top.
high shoes.
It's actually sneakers. Get it? They like to sneak around, be sneaky.
That was a good one.
Thank you. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for today. Pretty short lesson, and I think I might make them a little bit shorter and sweeter. I think it's awesome for you guys to keep showing up consistently. So thank you for that, and I'll post it out there. And I do think it adds a lot of value when people catch things on the recording, but it's also awesome to have some crowd support. So thanks for being there, guys. I appreciate it. And it's also a great way to connect too. So keep doing those connections with your family and friends. You got a lot of cool ways to do that, whether it's through an online game or like I'm using Zoom webinar service. There's a bazillion different ways we can FaceTime each other. So keep in touch out there. We do have to keep our distance physically, but we don't really have to have social distancing. We can still be social, still stay connected. So I think that's a super important thing to keep doing. So you guys have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.